So shall we start, sir? Saranand, sir.
Yes, sir, you can start, sir, please.
Okay. So good afternoon, one and all present here, and so I'm welcoming you all for this 2 days workshop on antenna design using ANSYS electromagnetic shoot. Now I request Dr. M. Saravanan, sir, for invoke the gathering. So please, sir. Sir Saravanan, sir, prayer song, sir.
Yes. So it starts with a prayer song. So let's wait for 2 minutes for prayer song. Please stand.
गुरु ब्रह्मा गुरु विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वर परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः पूजाय राघवेन्द्राय सत्यधर्मयताय च भजगं कल्पवृक्षाय नमः कामधेनवे. Sir, you can give the welcome address.
Yeah, thank you. So in the name of God, blessings of Almighty, technical skill is the mastery of complexity, while creativity is the mastery of simplicity. I am glad to invite you all for this 2 days workshop on antenna design using ANSYS electromagnetic shoot. In this regard, I am extremely deliver my thanks and welcome to our Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. S. Salivagnan sir, to permit us to conduct this event. Next, my immense pleasure to welcome our Dean Academics, Dr. A.T. Ravichandran sir, for this occasion. The person who is backbone of all our endeavors, our Dean, Dr. V. Jayasankar sir, welcome you, sir, for this occasion. Without whom this won't be happen, which is none other than our HOD ma'am, Dr. R.S. Valarmati ma'am. Welcome you, ma'am, for this great occasion. And last but not least, I welcome all the faculty members from our department and the participants from various reputed institutions. And I request all the participants to make this 2 days will be a more informative session. Thank you all. And thanks to organizer for giving this wonderful chance to me. Thank you all. And welcome you all for once again. Thank you. So over to you, sir. Sarunan, sir.
Respected scientific community, faculty and student members, good evening to one and all. It is my honor to welcome you all for the resourceful 2 days workshop on antenna design. The main purpose of this workshop is to bridge the gap between academic and industrial requirements in the field of antenna design. And today's session will be focusing on designing the horn antenna using SIW waveguide using ANSYS HFSS. And due to time constraint, I now hand over the session to the uh, resource person, Dr. M. Saravanan. Now he will handle the session.
Thank you all. So I will start the session. So we have only two hours. So I don't want to waste the time. So I will directly start the session. So first, our objective is to design a basic horn antenna. So the main theme of this workshop is to show or throw insight on how to design a commonly used antenna using ANSYS, HFSS or ANSYS electromagnetic shoot tool. So before going to that, I just throw what is horn antenna. I think most of them are know. Anyhow, I will throw it. So it is a high gain antenna which is operating. You can design this and you can operate at wide band of frequencies. So this is the design equation. The most critical part of the design is the flare angle, which is theta, which is shown here, and also the length between the flare opening to the flare end point. So these two this is the entire operating frequency and also the parametric characteristic of the horn antenna. So theoretically, if you see a horn antenna, the more you increase the flare angle, the more you increase the wide opening of the horn antenna. You can see H is the opening height of the horn antenna. The more you can increase the length of the horn antenna, the more you increase the opening, it will have a infinite or a very high gain and directivity. But the difficulty is is my voice is audible, please? Someone?
Yes, sir, it is
Sir, it is
audible.
audible, sir.
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Sir,
Thank you, thank you. Thank you. But practically, if you take now for high gain antennas, you cannot increase this horn length. You cannot increase to infinite length or very high length because of the structure, huge structure. You cannot incorporate or you cannot combine this device with other RF gadgets. So this puts the limitation. However, you can use this kind of antenna for moderate gain applications. So the main motto is to design this antenna by today, and also along with SIW technology, substrate integrated waveguide technology, followed by this design. Okay. So before going to that, first we must know what is a rectangular waveguide. So you can see that if this is the horn antenna structure, means the back end of the horn antenna is composed of a rectangular waveguide, and this flaring angle is made to match the impedance between the waveguide with your air environment. Suppose if this flare is not here, okay, say an example, if flare is not here, what will it will look like a simple waveguide. So whatever you are giving, that will be given in the input side, and it will travel through the waveguide, and it will reach at this end. At the same point, what is happening now? Suddenly, the impedance of this waveguide is different from the impedance of the air. Yes. So at this point, the waveguide may have different impedance. Say an example, 50 ohm waveguide or some other ohm waveguide, but the air impedance is 377 ohms or 120 pi. Okay. So if there is no flaring angle, there will be an impedance mismatch between these two, and thereby the wave cannot be effectively radiated out to the environment. In order to match the impedance of this one with air, you need a impedance matching structure, and that structure is given by this flaring structure. So this gives a structure of horn antenna. So this is the basic principle of horn antenna. So the basic principle is to match the impedance of the waveguide with the air, so that what the waves can be effectively radiated outside to the open medium. Okay. So the main design structure is the theta, that is the flaring angle, and also the length, which is L. Okay. So based on this, before we are going to design. So before going to that, first we will see what is rectangular waveguide. The dominant mode in this waveguide we have taken is TE10 mode. That is this structure. This is the first structure I am designing. Okay, first I will design the rectangular waveguide, which is TE10 mode. The commonly used rectangular waveguide in the X-band application is WR90, which is operating at 8.4, that is 8 to 12 gigahertz in the X-band. Okay, so this comes under the class of TE10 mode class, whose electric field is varying sinusoidally along A, which is shown here. Okay, so for this waveguide, the height and the length, not length, width, the height and the width is given by 0.9 inches and 0.4 inches. If you substitute that in a formula, you will get what is the frequency. Usually frequency equal to C by 2A. Okay, so 2A, if it comes this side now, you will be getting C by F. C by F is nothing but wavelength. So cutoff wavelength is given by 2A. We know what is A for waveguide, which is available in the market. If you substitute now, you will get the operating wavelength. From that, you can decide what is the cutoff frequency. So for this, the cutoff frequency is 6.56, or it is close to 7 gigahertz. So after 7 gigahertz, whatever the signal, that will be effectively radiated outside. So that will be the cutoff frequency of this waveguide, which we are planning to design. So based on this equation, A and B, based on the previous equation for X band, the design, the specification is given here. Okay, so this is flaring angle along A direction, this is flaring angle along B direction, and this is the wall thickness. So if you take this, it will have a wall. It is a metallic conductor, so definitely it will have some thickness. So that thickness is given by that, and the remaining parameters are given. Okay, horn length and waveguide length. Total horn length is nothing but total length of the horn. Okay, so we will directly go to the tool. 1 minute. First, you have to select ANSYS electromagnetic chute. It will take a minute to open because it's a 3D tool. So the version I am using is electromagnetic chute 19.2. Okay, later version also released, 20 version also released, but I am using 19.2, and that tool is sufficient for today's lecture. This is flow. So you have a task for the project manager here. This project manager, you will be seeing what is the title of below that. You will have a properties window. So this window shows if you click any structure, the corresponding structure property will be shown here. This is a message. If you are running design means if you are getting any error means those errors, warnings, everything will be shown here. And this is the progress. So if you are running now, what is the progress? So how far it has run? What is the phase? What is the number of trials it has run? Everything will be shown here. If you zoom it, you can see. Okay. So now we are going to design HFSS. So click here, HFSS, and then HFSS. So once you click, the window will open. The expansion is high frequency structure simulator. So we are going to design the structure at a higher frequency. So it will be shown as high frequency structure simulator. So this is the model environment, and this is what you are going to select that will be shown here. The first step is you have to save it. So please note that you should not save a name with space. There should be space, or it should not be a number. Okay. Today I am going to say.
Your voice is breaking, sir.
You can now okay, wow? I hope now it is okay.
Yes, sir. No, it is okay, sir.
Okay. So you can replace with but don't use space. Okay. So I am giving on underscore antenna. Okay. So this is the first condition. Don't use spaces when you are saving the model, and the name should not start with a number or any alphanumeric characters. Just give alphabetic character, that is okay. Don't use special characters. Now I have replaced. The next thing is I want to design this antenna. So you must give unit. So what is the unit you are going to use? So see, my model is divided in terms of inches. Okay, I will select inches here. IM. So you can see default it is meters. Okay. Now you can change this with inches. Now you can see it is changed to inches. So HFSS, sorry, modular unit, select the unit. Okay. So this is the next step. The third step is, what is the thing we need? We need first a waveguide. Okay. Then we need a flare structure. So two structures are there. First we have to design a waveguide. Then you are designing the metallic on or the flare structure. First I will design the waveguide. Okay. So the waveguide is of shape square or rectangular shape. So you can select it from here. You can draw it like this. Okay. So it is given in the 3D structure. Okay. So this is the first structure. So here if you are creating now, you can see under this environment, model, solid, this is a solid structure. Under that, what is the material you are designing? It is a vacuum material and the name of the material. So it is better to change the name according to our understanding. So this I can change it to some other thing. Suppose if I want a waveguide now, I can change WG or something. For my understanding, I can understand. So that next time I cannot go and search, because if you are designing a very big model, na, definitely lot of structure will take into place. So it will be difficult to identify the structure. So it is better to rename it. So I rename it as WG, and also you can change the color. So what type of color I want for better understand, you can change the color. So here you can see it is opaque, so I can change the transparency also. So I can change the transparency, so 80% transparent. So these are called attributes. So this is used to change the attributes of it. Okay. Similarly, the bottom one, this is used to change the position. So which position I want to place. If I place 0, 0, 0, okay. So you can see that at 0, 0, 0, from this position, x-axis, it has to grow 2 inches. So from here to here, 2 inches. Similarly, y-axis, it has to grow 1.8, or you can want 3 inches, means it can grow 3 inches. And z-axis, what is the thickness? So everything can be controlled from here. So the first thing is the attributes, that is the name, what is the kind of material. Here also you can change the material, but here we want vacuum only, so I am not changing the color, the transparency. So these are called attributes. This will not greatly affect the design. So the next one is the position and the size. Okay, so these two control is required for entire design of it. Okay, 1 minute. Now I want to know what is the length of this waveguide. Okay, what is the thickness, what is the height. So I know I am going to design my waveguide WR90. This is the waveguide I am going to design, which is available in the market, whose width and thickness is of 0.9 inches and 0.4 inches. Okay. The next thing I'm going to design at certain fixed distance. Okay. So first I will choose a variable. Okay. Before going to that, I will say why we go for variable. Okay. Now this 2 inches is I have decided for the length. Say an example. Okay. So next time I want to change now. Each time I want to go and click it, and I have to change that. Instead of that, you can choose this for one variable. Say an example A. Okay. Say an example A, or a waveguide length. Say an example, length of the variable, any variable name. It should not be any spaces. Any variable name, it will ask, should I select this 2 inches for waveguide length variable? It will ask. If you click it OK now, it will assign it. So next time, wherever you give waveguide length, this value will be assigned. Similarly, for y size, along the y size, which is the thickness of the waveguide, I'm going to choose A. I know what A is 0.9 inches, this length. This is 0.9 inches. Okay. Similarly, B, which is 0.4 inches according to WR90. So you can say this is A, this is B. I can randomly I can choose. If I choose one, means accordingly it will change. No need to go there. That is the beauty of variable. So once you choose the variable, directly you select it from here and you can change it from here. Okay. Now the position I want to choose. So the position is waveguide length, not waveguide length, horn length. So I am creating once again one more variable, horn length, comma, minus a by 2, comma, minus b by 2. I will say why I am choosing this. Horn length is 5.2 inches. Okay. TikTok. So you can see from here. So this is the total horn length. From this horn length distance, I am choosing. From there, I am drawing my structure. So minus a by 2 plus a by 2 now, then it will be exactly at half of the distance. Minus a by 2 distance, it will move, and plus b by 2 distance, it has to move this side. Okay. So that's why I choose this length. Now, first structure is over. The next structure I want is this flap, this structure, this box. Then I have to connect this box with this box, means the entire structure is over. Okay. So if you see that this flap structure is perpendicular to this axis. I will draw and I will explain what is the difference. So if I draw a 2D structure, you can see how it is drawn. It is drawn in the horizontal axis of X, Y axis. But I want this to be perpendicular to this axis. So in order to change that, okay, I have to change the grid direction to YZ. You can see this is Y, this is Z. Now the grid direction changes to this side, this orientation. With respect to that, you have to draw. Now if I draw now, it will come like this. So that's why I have to go and change the grid direction. So according to your structure, you have to change the orientation and direction of the grid. Okay. Now this is the flare dimension, and I want to know what is the flare length and flare width. So this I have calculated. It is 2.65 inches and 1.95 inches. So go here, change y-axis. I already given. I took this flare also in a variable, which is 2.95 inches. And also b direction also I am taking in a variable which is 1.95 inches. The position I am going to choose zero, because it is in y and z axis. So the x scale must be 0. So minus flare a divided by 2, so that it will be oriented in the 0th position. Flare divided by b. Sorry, this is flare underscore b divided by 2. So you can choose, check it here. Okay, so I have created the flare, I have created the waveguide. Two structures I have created. Now I want to join this waveguide with the flare. So select both waveguide and flare. Go to HFSS. Sorry, go to modeler surface, you have to connect it, but this connect option is not enabled. The reason is you can connect two surface, but the first structure is a volume, not a surface. This waveguide is a 3-dimensional, only this one is a structure, so we cannot connect that. In order to overcome this, I have to create one surface in front of the waveguide, that I have to connect it. In order to do that, go to edit, select mode, faces. So now you can select one face of the object. Okay, then go to edit, select object by name. Go to edit, select object by name. Select which surface you want to select it. So I want to select the surface from waveguide, which from this material I want to select. Choose that which face you want to select it. So you can select any one of the face. Which face I want? I want this face. This face has to be taken, because this face and this face only I'm going to connect it. Click OK. Okay. Now go to HFS model, surface, create object from face, because I want to create one face from this face direction. Now it has been created. Now select, press Ctrl, select this rectangle, select this waveguide, both will be selected. Go to modeler, surface. Now you can see connect option is enabled. If you connect it, both will be connected. Okay, so once again I will repeat the steps. Okay, go to edit, select mode, faces. Then go to edit, select object by name. Select waveguide, the material you want to select. Select the face you want to duplicate. Click OK. You will be getting this surface selected. Now go to modeler, surface, create object from face. The new object will be created from this face. Now select both the newly created object with rectangle. Go to modeler, connect these two. Your waveguide, your structure will be getted. Now join all the structure, because these two are detached. You want to join both the structures, so select both the structure by pressing Ctrl X. Go to modeler, boolean unite, or directly you can go from here or you can go from here. Okay, now the waveguide structure, horn antenna structure, both are joined into a single structure. Okay, now this is a vacuum, but the real horn antenna will have a vacuum inside. Over the vacuum you will have a metallic sheet. So the next step is to create a metallic sheet over this antenna. But you can see that the opening, there is no metallic sheet. Other than the opening only, you will have a metallic sheet. So I have to create all the surface of this vacuum structure except the front vacuum, that is front face, and then I have to create a metallic structure. So that is the next step. Okay, so first I have created a waveguide structure. Next I have created this flare surface. Next I connect these two. This is the 3 steps I did. The 4th step is you have to select all the surfaces except the front surface and create a metallic structure. So go to edit once again, select mode, faces. Then go to edit, select object, select by name, waveguide, select all the surfaces. First you have to know which is the front face. So 56 face, 56 is the front. Other than that, I have to select all. Okay. Now I am selecting all the faces except the front face. Click OK. Now go to modeler, surfaces, create object. So now a new object on all the surfaces has been created. Unite it. Okay. Now this is the object which has been created around the entire structure over the vacuum. But this is not a metallic sheet. In order to make it a metallic sheet, you have to select that sheet. Go to once again surface, thicken sheet. You can give what is the thickness you want. I want to change this also by a variable thicken sheet. This is the new variable I am creating, which is of thickness 0.05. So now you can see a new sheet of 0.5 inches, 0.05 inches has been created. So this is the sheet. This sheet should be a conducting material. So if you click this in the property window, the window is open. You can rename this as a horn shell. Okay, so this is the conducting material horn shell. So this is the inside is a air medium. So you can choose it horn antenna, air medium or vacuum medium for your simplicity, for your better understanding. Okay, now this is the horn shell. This shell should be a conductor. Go to material, click edit, select the type of material you want. I want a perfect conductor. Select OK. Now you can see that under perfect conductor, horn shell is there. Under vacuum, horn air is there. So now the structure is ready. You have created the structure, but you are not given any input to test the performance or characteristics of this structure. In order to do that, select the structure. Okay, you have to feed the structure. How can I feed the structure? So I have to create a port. Okay. So select a sheet. I want to give a port here because this is the input side. So rename it to port. Rename it to port. So the position, once again the position has to be there. So this dimension is equal to A cross B, that is equal to the dimension of waveguide. Okay, so you can replace this with A, you can replace this with B. Okay, now the dimension is okay, only the position is varying. So what is this position? This position is nothing but horn length. Along x-axis, horn length plus your waveguide length. Okay, has to be so horn underscore length, which is already created. Next waveguide underscore length. So this is the x length. Okay, then the remaining is minus a by 2 as usual to make it position at the center. So horn length plus waveguide length horn length is 5.2 Waveguide length is 1 inches. Waveguide length is 1 inches. Okay. So this is minus b by 2. There is an error I made. Okay. Now it is perfectly positioned. Waveguide. Now I have connected a connector, but I am not giving any electrical input. So that is called excitation. Okay, just I connect where I want to excite to show that I have created one structure and I am telling the system that this is the point where I am giving excitation. So right click it, assign excitation, wave port, click next, finish. Now I am giving an input. You can see, so this is the input point and this is the structure. So I am giving an input, I am giving a structure. The next, the final thing is I have to create a boundary. Okay, boundary means the region around this structure to measure the radiation characteristics, or you can call it in antenna the far field distance. Okay, usually how we are measuring the radiation? So we place an antenna in the antenna under test place and we will measure the received signal at some distance away from the your antenna. Okay, so that is called far field distance and it will be equal to 2 capital D the whole square divided by 2 D square divided by lambda. So that is your far field distance, and where D is the maximum length or dimension of the structure. Okay, so this is the procedure we are following. Similarly, you have to create a boundary region around this structure in order to measure the radiation characteristics of the antenna. So for that, I have to go for draw region, go to absolute offset. So this is the boundary region. So that is radiation distance. What is it? This also I'm taking in terms of uh, inches, 0.4 inch. So you can see that the boundary has been created, but I am not telling the system this is the boundary of the model. So I have to go right click it, assign boundary, select it as radiation boundary. So now the system knows this is the radiation boundary. What is the field inside it? That has to be calculated. Okay. So this is the procedure. So what we are following, we first create a waveguide. Next we create a flare. The third step, we have created a port to excite the model. The fourth step, we have created the boundary, okay, to measure the radiation characteristics. Okay. The final step is to give the operating frequency. So the system don't know what is the center frequency you are designing. So to do that, go to project manager, here analysis, right click it, add solution setup. What is the frequency you have designed? So as an engineer, we know what is the antenna we are designing. Suppose a customer may came and ask, give you, so design an antenna, I need an antenna at 2.4 gigahertz, 2.5 gigahertz, like that. Similarly, this antenna I have target is designed at a center frequency of 10 gigahertz. Okay, because you can see from here, the operating frequency is from 8 to 12 gigahertz. That is, it is closely at a center frequency of 10 gigahertz. So I am telling the system the solution frequency is 10 gigahertz, but the design may not be appropriately correct. It may operate at 10.2 or 9.8 or nearby frequencies. So we must analyze this model from lower band of the center frequency to higher band of the center frequency. So to do that, right click the setup, add frequencies. We tell the system or tell the modeler to analyze from
from 5 gigahertz to 15 gigahertz. That is both the position of the center frequency and select fast or any one. Okay, discrete means it takes discrete steps. From 5 to 15 gigahertz, it will check with the discrete steps. I can show the preview. So 5.0 to 2 like that, 451 points it will select. Interpolating means near to the center frequency, it will be very close. Okay, like that, how the samples, what is the sample frequency between these two bands, it has to be selected, that has to be. So for a fast, my RAM is only 4 GB, so I choose fast. So click OK. Now the solution frequency is selected. The last step is to set up the radiation. So the radiation means, so in general, the radiation will have two planes, azimuthal plane and elevation plane, or you can call it as theta plane and pi plane. Okay, so this plane you have to measure in terms of 5 degree or 10 degree or 2 degree. It depends upon your requirement. Okay, so that can be calculated from radiation characteristics. Right click it, far field sphere I want it. Okay, so up to this the model is over. Now the only thing which is left is we have to run it. Go to HFSS, validate it whether everything is okay. If it is okay means okay, then go to modular HFSS, analyze all. So now the system starts analyzing this structure. The procedure is the progress is shown in the progress window. If there is any warning means that will be shown in the message window. Okay. So it will take some amount of time. Okay. So please bear with me for 1 or 2 minutes. So once the adaptive process 1 is over, now it is go to second pass. That means the number of iterations it take to analyze the characteristics of this model. Okay. So once again, I am telling the procedure. First procedure is to draw the waveguide. Second procedure is to draw the flash structure. Third procedure is to give an excitation. Fourth procedure is to form a radiation boundary to capture or to measure the radiation characteristic. Fifth procedure is to analyze or give the operating frequency or center frequency along with its speed. And the next final procedure is give the radiation conditions. Okay. So this step is common for any antennas you are designing. Okay, while running itself, you can check what is the field or surface current distribution. So select the object, from which object I want to see the current distribution inside the waveguide, that is in the horn air medium. Okay, select it, right click field overlay, go to magnitude of E field, select done. Okay. So you can go there. You can see that the current distribution or the electric field distribution inside the horn antenna. You can see it here. Okay. Now right click, animate. Click OK. Since the system is connected with the live stream, it takes some time for this model to run. Okay, else it has to be over by now. As I told previously, so you can see the field distribution or the surface current distribution inside the air medium. Surface current distribution inside the air medium, how the fields are generated. You can see the fields are perpendicular to the structure because this is a T10 mode. Okay, the E field is sinusoidal along A. Okay, that you can clearly see it here, or I can show it in some other fashion also. Instead of this, I can show the magnitude. Vector. The same procedure, whether you want the surface distribution or the magnitude. So you can see it clearly, the magnitude distribution. The fields are varying in a sinusoidal fashion. So you can see this is the RMR pointing here, like that it is varying. So you can see it here, it is varying a sinusoidal. Okay, so along the axis. So this is the mode propagation. You can also check the gain. The gain of the antenna is calculated by far field report. So right click results, create far field report, go to 3D polar plot. I want to see the 3D gain in terms of dB, that is gain in terms of dB. Click new report. You can check it. The new report will be generated. So it gives a gain, maximum gain of, that is peak gain of 16.48 dB. Okay, it is more than sufficient for long distance communication. That's why we call horn antenna or high gain antennas. If you increase further the length of the flare, okay, still the directivity and gain will increase. But the problem is, the more you increase the flare, the larger the structure, the larger the antenna. So it is difficult to embed or integrate this antenna with the communication. The communication system size will get increased. Okay, so both it will have advantage and disadvantage. So you can check the field here. I think it is not coming here. Scale transparency. Oh, I place a full transparent. Okay, so So this is the direction. So it is like pointing the most of the energy towards the desired direction. Okay, so this is 3D plot. Now you can call for a 2D plot also. So 2D plot dB 0 axis. Okay, so you can see that how the radiation beam of horn antenna will look like. So marker, you can mark it in the direction of propagation. So it gives a peak gain of 16.48 dB. And also operating frequency that can be shown, but still the program is, so it will take 1 or 2 minutes. So in the meantime, you can wait, the program will has to run. Yeah, it is over. Okay, now we can go for that. Create model report. The impedance characteristics can be from create model report. Okay, so you can see that from here to it goes there within the band 6 nearly equal to 7, it is less than 10 dB. Okay, so this is the impedance characteristics of the model. Okay, so usually we will use this create model report, the impedance characteristics. If we want radiation characteristics, we will go for create far field. Okay, so usually we will go for these two things only. So this is the general introduction of this tool. Okay, so how an aperture type of antenna is modeled using electromagnetic shoot ANSYS type. Okay, so the next half of the session will be surface substrate integrated waveguide. Okay, that will be given for next topic. So I will please come on 3:10. 10 minutes break. You can come and join by 3:10. We will have the session after 8 minutes. Thank you.